Many of us who are tuning in may already know what a polymath is. But for those who don't, a polymath is an individual whose knowledge spans multiple disciplines. They work across complex bodies of knowledge and solve problems. Some polymaths that come to mind are Aristotle, Benjamin Franklin, Isaac Newton, and Rabindranath Tagore. This reminds me of a story about Leonardo da Vinci, the most well known polymath of all time. He was the artist behind famous paintings like Mona Lisa and The Last Supper. In addition, he also dissected cadavers and drew detailed sketches of the human anatomy. Da Vinci was most intrigued by the human heart and considered it a marvel of engineering. He sketched the chambers of the heart, the valves, and blood vessels. He theorized that the heart is a pump that directs the movement of blood through the body with absolute perfection. If you are listening to this audio podcast or watching the video version on YouTube or Spotify, you'll be familiar with his feats, especially if you are an anatomist or a cardiologist. However, today's story is a lesser known tale which many of you may not have heard. Let's travel back to the late 15th century. At that time, Italy was not a unified country. Instead, it was a collection of city states constantly at war with each other. Da Vinci was in his 30s and lived in Florence. Not satisfied with the commissions of painting and sculpting he got from his patrons, he decided to reinvent himself. The opportunity arose when the Duke of Milan was looking for a military engineer, so Da Vinci decided to apply for that position. In his application letter, it was written, I can build bridges and tunnels, catapults and trebuchets, boats and water diverting systems, mortars and siege machines, light, strong ladders and siege engines for storming walls. He had actually designed many of these devices, at least on paper. Although he was a painter and sculptor, structural engineering, architecture, and mathematics were a natural extension of his pre existing skills. At the end of his application, Da Vinci wrote, almost like a casual footnote, I can sculpt in marble, bronze, and clay. Likewise, I can also paint. If any of the above seem impossible or impractical, I am willing to prove them in your park or wherever your excellency may choose. Though this move was bold and risky, Da Vinci got the job and he moved from Florence to Milan. Over the years, Da Vinci designed all the machines he had promised the Duke of Milan, did studies on geometry, and designed everything from churches to fortresses. He also designed an armored wagon that was a prototype of the modern day tank. In his private time, Da Vinci painted. One of his paintings during this stint in Milan was The Last Supper. This story illustrates that polymaths can transfer a skill from one discipline to another with ease because where most people see boundaries and strict demarcations between different disciplines, polymaths see connections between different disciplines. Da Vinci knew that the Duke of Milan did not need a painter or sculptor, he wanted power and prestige. So Da Vinci took the leap from one discipline to another and gave the Duke exactly what he wanted.